Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to play Relicts because it's been about 2 months since I've actually played them, and this version is going to be much different than the previous one that I had. You guys know that I love Yaga, right? So I definitely would have liked to play Yaga in the past because it felt like Syndicate was like every single matchup, and there were Sea Jackals and tons of 4 provision cards throughout the meta that were going pretty tall. Now I didn't feel like that would be the case, and now I felt like it would be harder to maintain Sabbath, so I opted to take out the Yaga, and I just find that She Who Knows is a little bit expensive, but it's also predictable. So the opponent will often save that tall removal for the end of the round when you try and play this card, and also you have to draw this card in round 1, which makes you want to go and put something like the Iroquois, and I just didn't feel like going and teching in one of these just so that we can play She Who Knows. It felt pretty expensive for just one play for 10 points of carryover, which might not mean much at the end of the game. So that's why I opted to do it this way. We have low provisions with the leader, so I have to use them sparingly in order to put as many good plays as I could in the deck. Now, to go through the deck list here, we have Mamuna, so it has Zeal, and the orders to banish a bronze unit from our graveyard and boost self by its power, then summon a copy of it from your deck to the row. Sabbath, you can play it instead. So the main target here is going to be the Griffin, but really we have just about anything. I think the Self Eaters are a pretty good target. Gansean's a good target if we have Sabbath. We can go for Witch Apprentice if it's early on in the round and we want to get an engine there. I don't think we often want to go for Lesser Witch, if at all, unless we absolutely have to, but I didn't find that in any of the games today we had to go and do that, so I probably would just advise against it. Make sure though when you're playing Griffin that you don't have Sabbath on a row, or if you do have Sabbath, make sure you have room to remove like a 1-point token or 1-point Self-Eater from that row. There was one instance today where I got kind of carried away, and I made a mistake with my Griffin, which cost me like 11 points. So be careful with that, but ultimately that didn't cost us the game, right? It was just a collection of things, I guess you could say. But all in all, good swing with Mamuna, good consistency tool, and you can either use this as like a finishing play, a bleeding play, or just like an opening play in a round. So definitely something you want to have in this type of deck. I did put the Old Spear Tip and Old Spear Tip Asleep with the Osriel combo in the deck. I feel like you're going to be playing against Muzzle sometimes, which would make the Old Spear Tip Asleep not as good. But the thing is, most of the time I'm running into Muzzle right now, it's in a Stockpile matchup, and I think that matchup's pretty much an auto loss anyways. It's very difficult to deal with, and I don't think that there is a way that we can really get it to happen, especially because they're so consistent with their draws and we can fully anticipate them getting everything. Even if we heatwave the scenario, we eat an important engine with the Toad Prince, and we go and we take a Spores on the Henselt, it's not enough. Even if I put 2 natural selections in the bronze end and maybe took out these 2 cards, I don't think it would be enough because we just can't stop all the engines. Like Full Test Pride's a really important one that sticks, and it's, again, something that's just not going to work. So I felt like we'll play for the instance where we're not playing into Muzzle because most decks aren't running it. I haven't run into Assimilate yet with the deck, but that would be another example of a deck that might run Muzzle. But again, beyond that, I think we're pretty good. Now, this, after 3 turns, brings out Spear Tip. Spear Tip takes on Old Spear Tip Asleep's base power, making this 18 base power and banishing this from the playing field. If they destroy this before the 3 turns, it summons this anyways. So, worst case scenario, we get a 13-point Osriel, right? 1 base power plus the 12. Best case scenario, we have a 19-point Osriel. And if we can get this out in round 1 with a couple of our really inexpensive plays, then we can pretty much guarantee last save for round 3 and put Osriel down for 14 points. And in a short round, it's very difficult to beat that. It's like 20 points with 1 card, so it feels like a good win condition for me, because normally I would like to try and swarm with Relicts as much as possible, but with all the anti-swarm techs, I didn't want to go too crazy with the Relicts, right? I didn't want to go and make too many copies of Self Eaters and make whole deck around it. I didn't want to go crazy with the Bloody Mistress because I felt like if it gets answered, it gets answered, but you know, making 2 or 3 of them is probably not going to be better if the opponent has like a Tin Boy Salamander Mage, Lacerate, you know, Full Test Pride, stuff like that. So again, this is kind of how I went about it. I do think Heatwave's important. Banished unit or artifact. We don't have a lot in the way of control. Like the last version I put out had a bit more control. So this just feels appropriate to have either Scenario or Tall Punish, right? Mushy Truffle gets really good value here because we're getting, you know, the ability to boost 3 adjacent units by 2, ultimately maybe keeping the Self-Eaters alive, keeping the pigs going, or just keeping Sabbath, and then we can pull into the Lesser Witch, which is surprisingly one of my, like, I actually think it's a pretty good bonded card, even though it's not a very exciting one, because when you bond it, a 4 provision plays for 10 points, like, that's actually very good, and I think it's often overlooked. So again, I do think that the Lesser Witch with the Truffle is very important in a Relics list right now. There was a toss-up between Naglfar and taking Royal Decree because we are non-devotion, but I felt like there are a couple cards that are not units that I'd like to pull into by chance, right? So these are kind of game-altering golds. So I felt like leaving the options open here. With the thinning from Riders, Spear Tip Asleep, Mamuna, like all that type of stuff, I felt like Naglfar hits would be pretty good if you take it round 2, early round 3, and we don't have a lot of real game-changing golds, so the pull lot is a bit better. It's not like we have a lot of unnecessary or mid-range golds, like we're not putting Maxi and stuff in the deck, so there's not a lot to like hinder our pulls, right? It's always going to be something pretty good, and if we take Spear Tip early, then again, you see what I'm saying, like it's pretty good stuff there, so that's why I kept it the way it was. Toad Prince I think is going to be good for control. It does proc Thrive. It also does eat a 4 power unit from the opponent's side of the playing field, so we're taking points from them, we're bringing points on our side of the playing field, we're boosting Thrive, hopefully we're taking away one of their engines, so I think Toad Prince is just very important, and it can be played pretty well in short round, long round, doesn't really matter. There's always going to be a reason to play this card, and it's one of the cards I like to put in most of my monster decks. Of course, Osril for the 19-point ceiling, but we can also use Osril offensively, which is why I didn't opt to put a squirrel in this deck, because if there's maybe a unit that we want to take care of for good from their graveyard, Sigvald, Melusine, like something like that, we can go and we can reach for that. But again, most often we're going to be taking our own card here, and I feel like, you know, the worst Osril we're going to get is not horrible. Like, it'll be 9 points off the Gansian if it's between the 2 relics. So, or like a Griffin or something like that, so 10-point Osril is whatever, right? You'll find oftentimes, I guess Goliath got a provision buff, but when Goliath was 8 provisions, no one had a problem playing Goliath, so just kind of an idea, right? Rat Catcherus I didn't feel like was worth it because a lot of control is going down right now. This trades very poorly, right? One consideration I had wasn't the Crones, it was actually Striga. That's something that you could put because dominance is not difficult to come by here. So if you're finding that there's a certain package you wanted to swap out, maybe you weren't a fan of the Spear Tip combo, you can maybe take that combo out, put in something like the Striga, and then you can just fit like another tall unit or something like that as a point slam. That's fine by me, right? And, you know, just having that extra little bit of control could make a difference. So there we go. Talked about the sleep. Self-Eaters are pretty cool, right? Order half this unit's base power, then spawn a copy with the same base power in this row. Whenever you play a relic, increase this unit's base power by 1. So we want to kind of click these and go wide with them as much as we can, and then just play a bunch of relics and boost them all in sync, and they get pretty crazy that way. Oftentimes you'll find that they get answered, but they do trade usually pretty well. We get really bad trades in the Deadeye ambush matchup where, of course, they have just waylays, and when we click it, it's out of 3, they kill it, and it's just like denying us so many points, giving them so many points, and just not a good situation. So oftentimes I won't click there, or I'll play them early round 1 to try and provoke the whole waylay play early, because I feel like that waylay play is almost worse than the scenario, you know, so that's kind of the way I go about that there. Griffin, just a big point slam. We can use our leader ability token to eat so that we don't, you know, lose any points there. We get the token back next turn anyways off our leader, so it's fine. Incubus is a really good card. when used correctly, and it's I don't think it's like really a good idea to run 2 of these. It's kind of like a remedy if you think about it for like Nilfgaard, but like for monsters, right? We're not playing their unit, but we're playing our unit and bringing out one of their units. Now, both decks need to have a graveyard established, which makes this card really bad in round 1. But again, being able to pull out something like a Qcento when they've been stuck between 2 relics for 9 points, placed for 15 points, and then we can bring out maybe something that's like 3 base power, 4 base power at best from their side. Hopefully that's not an engine, and you can see there's a big point contrast created by that play. In a short round 3, that can actually win the game if you think about it. Imagine like an Incubus and a Mamuna play. It's quite powerful, right? So we have that there. Again, talked about these riders are just for the thin because dominance is really easy to get, so I felt like doing this will make sure we play more of the cards in our deck. And you'll notice throughout the games today that I'm not really missing cards like that. I think there was one game where I was a little upset that I missed maybe 2 cards, but I don't think that was really going to be our best game anyways. So, you know, you're going to be pulling them with this, so it runs pretty fluently. And Witch Apprentice is probably one of my favorite monster cards right now. Since this card came about, I have been playing a lot less of the Beast. So this seems like something that you'd just want to auto-include in a lot of monster decks, but I feel like this is going to do something very similar for less provisions, right? Sabbath being 25 points or more on a row at the end of our turn boosts out by 2, so we can get those going maybe 2 in a round even for 4 passive points per turn. And then of course, it kind of plays well with things like Megascope. It's a little bit slower, but it's certainly an option. Otherwise, we can go Megascope something like a Griffin or Self-Eater, and I'm completely fine with that as well. So I just wanted to put it like a one-off Megascope. I don't think 2 is going to be good here. Just like the Incubus, it adds to the deck, but it's not like the overall strategy, and I think that's the sweet spot of just having a couple one-offs here. And then Spores, again, we're not doing a lot of direct control, so that means a lot of engines are going to be left untreated, right? We have access to maybe 1, you know. So we have a really tall punish, and I think that's really good to have, really inexpensive to have. And if we don't need it, we could put it back in the deck. You'll never see me run more than 1 Spores in a deck, but lately I've been running Spores, and it's been coming in clutch. I had a really good Spores on a Galeas yesterday, so it just basically solidified my confidence in running Spores again for today. And again, talked about Lesser Witch. Purify is kind of important because if they poison something of ours that's tall, we can purify it. If they lock it, we can purify it because we have a lot of engines. If we need to get around a defender on their side of the playing field, we can go and we can do that. So we can heat wave the target behind it or Toad Prince the target behind it. So this just helps because I don't have any sort of movement tech. We do go tall, and sometimes I need to have reach for what they're doing. So that's pretty much what I have here. Played a few games today. I think I have 6 games for you guys here. Surprisingly, I did better than I thought, and this deck is less than 6,000 scraps. So if you guys are new to the game and you're looking for a budget deck to play, well, we just played a pro rank, and we played, I think, peaked around 2450 in this one here, so 2445 or something like that by the end of the video. So I'm feeling like there is potential with the deck for sure. I don't think it's the best time for it, but I think if it's something you want to play right now, then this is probably going to be one of the more effective versions, just based on the way it's been playing and what I've been seeing so far. So give it a try if you like, and if you enjoy the content, don't forget to sub to the channel. Just a reminder, I will be streaming on Twitch this Saturday, so if you want to keep up with my stream schedule times and when I go live and stuff like that, hop in the Discord server. I'd be happy to help you, or have you rather. And I just threw up a Patreon this past week as well, so if you want to check that out, support the channel that way. There are 3 different tiers that you can have a peek at with some great perks. But for now, that's enough from me. Let's get into the games, and hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so I threw this one together, and it's gotta be like the least expensive deck that I think I've played in a guide, but I'm actually pretty confident with its ability here, so we're gonna give it a try, okay? Don't like pairs. This is actually going to be pretty good. These aren't bonded. I think we're supposed to put back one of those. When I say least expensive, I mean it's like 5,000 something scraps. I'd be curious to see if this is the version that I keep at the end when I go and talk about the deck at the beginning of the video. But, okay, they start off a little slow. I want to give them a couple things to worry about. So Self-Eater could be one. Spear Tip Asleep could be the second. That kinda works out for us. I'm gonna get this online though, just so that we don't lose the opportunity. Forget about the Thrive curve, it's all about tempo. And because we have this now, we can actually play this bonded, so... I feel like it's important to save the Self-Eater for later. But then again, I kind of want to win the round too, right? Yeah, we have other win conditions. We can use like an Incubus to bring it back, so... And I think one of the reasons why this deck's so inexpensive as well is because the bronze end carries so well. Whatever, we take the thin, I suppose. Alright, so we got another off the books deck here. And I would imagine that it's a little bit of an issue if you think about it, like their wide punish. So we'll put that back. Don't think I want to run 2 pigs in round 1. And Incubus is kinda not really the play for round 1 either. I think we just start off with a Griffin. And I think the play we're supposed to make here is taking Spear Tip, getting the Thin, getting an Osril set up for later. Round control with the Osril last say is kind of a big deal. So, we won't boost it or anything like that, but we'll just see if we can make it work. So if I put a pig down and take a boost here, it's kind of awkward. We'll just go with this first, and then I can boost one of the, you know, riders, because going super tall in this doesn't make sense. This thrives, and this is just not something we want to go tall in. Because it'll lose the boost, basically, right?
Corporations are people too.
I think we let him have the coin. It's a little bit slower.
A witch's best friend is a pig, no doubt.
I feel like they're likely gonna pass. Devotion. I feel pretty comfortable leaving at that. The only way they do it in 2 is if they take a tribute, get rid of the 18. I still don't see it here. Unless they have another one of these. That's actually a pretty big swing. They get 4 for 2 coins. Okay. Now something's happening. There we go. So having the Marils come out in round 1's actually pretty good. Leader charge as well. We didn't really spend anything, right? We actually have the carryover with the spear tip, and they can't do anything about that 19 points at the end. We pull the Ozrael as well. Good. I think Megascope's what I like the least, but it plays for a lot of points if we take it off a Griffin. But I do think that maybe we just do that later. We'd summon that, which would be 5 provisions, then we'd get something like that for them. It's not good.
Share the night, share the love.
We'll just do whatever. Doesn't matter about leader charge, obviously, on a dry pass round, so... So we have Bonded, big play. We're pulling a gold card, which is the Heat Wave. I think that's going to be the hand. I don't think we want to do much more than that. We got to be careful about overswarming too. So I don't think we put both Self-Eater on the same row. I think we actually split it up a little bit. So we'll wait for the whole Lesser Witch thing. That's actually not a big deal. If they have Tin Boy though, which they might, that could be a problem. I just don't really like running Tin Boy if I'm running, you know, everything else. This just might be an issue for me here, so I'll take care of it. And I guess we just go into like the whole lesser play. Okay. I want to get Sabbath. We'll jam that down next.
Deals can be filed within 7 years.
Then we just focus on everything else. Start playing on the melee row though. We need space for the Ozrael.
I'll never be imprisoned again.
I'm trying to decide if I want to heatwave that or not. Just because it's going to spawn the tokens, right? Which could be actually a pretty big deal. Okay, so we'll start dealing with this stuff here. It's hard to say if we have it. If they do have that tin boy, they don't even need to take tribute. They could just do it on one row. 19 points with the Oz roll, 9 with this here. Thrive on both. 6 off the truffle. Okay. It's really gonna come down to it, I think. So, Professor Tinboy. Actually, I don't think they have room for Tinboy. Because, like, look. 10, 9, Philippa, this, 12, 9, 12. Yeah, I don't think it's Tinboy. We'll split the points up a little bit here.
I can't wait to hear your wicked flesh sizzle.
This should just be enough. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we got Off the Books up next. I've been seeing a lot less of this leader this month. Hand's actually really good. Maybe we put back one of the pigs. It's gotta be perfect, right? So we could scope a pig or we could scope a griffin. Really depends.
Appeals can be filed within 7 years.
That's like a pretty good tax collector, right? I think that's what we're supposed to do. It's a little bit slower than... Yeah, we should be okay here. I think I want to take the thinning. And then we can just play one of the pigs because... Yeah, that's what we'll do here. No, I don't think they have an answer to it, but I think it might be worth scoping. Ah, we just get the pass right away. That's fair. So they would have spent Horst. We would have spent Toad Prince. I think we're pretty evened up. We could probably push here. It's not the time for this. This could be good actually if they have like a jackal, but then again we have heat wave. I think we just do something like that. Yeah, we can get a big swarm going with the lessers. Here. We'll split, start playing Truffle. Kind of a bit slower for us, right? We want to get that to 3 at least. Okay. Luckily, we do get the thrive there, and I think we just go for like a lesser witch here, jam a pig, and try to get out. I don't mind playing something like the Gansean here as well. We do have space. Now this is 3 points per turn, this is 2. I think we're supposed to play Bloody Mistress first.
Make way! Move it!
3, 6, this would make 9. They put bleeding on thrive. Okay. They can't answer this here. We just kind of push the pig. Okay, that'll take it. Whether they use... Actually... There.
He
21.
the fire.
They're surprisingly clean creatures.
28. I want to see if I can hold on to things.
Sometimes beggars can be choosers.
That's like the best tin boy you can have, really.
You are worthy neither of mercy nor
At this point, we trade. Like, if we go a card down into short round 3, it's not all bad because we have big point slams.
Wouldn't touch a hair on my head, she said.
I don't think we use truffle. Actually, we might be able to get away with just playing Megascope depending on what they play here. 33, okay. We go down 412. I want them to think it's Mamuna last say. There we go.
We too can play with fire. Oh yeah.
So
Yes, you. Have you made
they lose pretty much all their coin there. We have a bit of carryover here. They have the 1 card advantage, but we have a heat wave. I think that's fine. If we can get like Mamuna, Spear Tip, Ozroll or something, like we're doing pretty well. I don't think they'll be going super tall. Mamuna can pull one of these. I think Mamuna's probably better though for Griffin. That's better. We'll just let them boost that, I guess. I do think that they're probably going to have, like, King of Beggars. It really... I wasn't actually paying attention to the coin count, but it would make sense. So we get a 9. We got to be careful because we're going tall, and I think they might have Marillis as well.
I want to see corpses. Corpses everywhere.
We'll play Spear Tip front row in case they take care of the Mamuna. Maybe they're faking a poison, try to get a forfeit out of me. I don't know. But it could just be a poison. It could be Marillis. That's what I'm expecting.
Nose, mouth, any hole.
But they don't have the coin now, so we should be fine. Either way, they're going to split up their spending. I think we hit the 12. Professor.
Trouble yourself, please, for mercy.
That one's a tie. That wasn't bad. Alright, so let's try this one here. Deadeye ambush. 1 and 2. Don't think Spores is going to be great. I don't anticipate Incubus being like really good, but it's not bad for one of these, you know? Just say we dump that back. Okay, sure enough. We'll do the best we can with this round. I think we need to push a little bit. Huge points for 2 cards here. We'll split those, take these, then we could actually take back, these are 5 provisions, so we take back one of these that's big. That's like the best waylay right now, like... We gotta be careful. I think what we're supposed to do is play the apprentice first. Okay. I'm just gonna ignore that for now. There's not much else we can do, right? Round control feels important to me. I'd say we get the engines going, and then they're gonna kill something, so it's okay that the row's stacked. And then we'll just put down the Gantian after. You see? Still get the 3 per turn. $53, it's probably worth taking. Good to see the leader come out here. We still gotta play. I'm just trying to save things like in order of importance. Obviously this is pretty important here. If they take... Okay. That was one of the big things I'm afraid of, you know what I mean? So... yeah, with that being played, we're good. We take back one of these at 2 power. We take this for 9. It plays for like 16 points. Wait. 15 points. You know what I mean? They get 2. We played Griffin round 1, I think, right? Yeah. Perfect. What's a pass card, though? I guess Lesser Witch would be a pass. I definitely wish there was something better to play. That's way better to play. The audacity here. We'll heatwave that. And then we'll just play that if they keep pushing. If they don't, I think we 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I don't think we take Brick Rider on purpose. I think we try and set up like a... That should be fine. If we can Aussie that, that'd be like goals. There we go. So we take maybe one mulligan. Okay, perfect. I was worried about pulling this. I was worried about pulling this, but now we're just fine. It's probably just riders. We'll do the best we can with the Thrive Curve. I think we go in with the Self Eater first, obviously, then we play the Incubus. Lesser Witch set of 5, yeah. And what's nice about this round is that we don't have to stack row. So, if they have the Torviel, they just play for points. Alright.
Garments are shackles that restrain our desires. Blueberries.
That's so nice. I think 2 of them's a little risky, but one of them feels really cool. So we'll play this on the front row here. I just want to get it over with. Mushy Truffle Osriel. I think we just win. Yeah. So that feels like the strategy. Push really hard round 1, make them spend something big. Preferably waylays like over anything else, but take this here and boost some of the weak ones. They might have Heat Wave. Okay. We'll never know. Alright, so this is probably going to be really bad. You know what I mean? If it's Siege... Actually, if it's Mages... Win condition, please, please, please. Because I think... I think either way we lose, right? If it's Siege, we just can't set up Sabbath at all. It's going to be horrible. Alright guys, I'm bringing you along for the journey here. 1 and 2 is pretty good. We'll keep that for the bait. This is not bad. Purify could probably go. This is okay. Pretty good round 1 hand. This can maybe go back. That can go back. And of course I brick it. We don't necessarily have to play this combo in round 1 though. You know what I mean? This could be like a round 2 bleed combo. Maybe get out Siege. So it's not all bad. We definitely take Toad Prince off that. It would be kind of... Wouldn't be smart, you know, not to. I think it's going to help us get the round. And then next turn we jam Pig and we just play TA. And we should be able to pass on that. It depends, because if they use Rafford's Vengeance and do all that, that's going to be a lot of points, right?
I pass on every 10th round.
We'll see here.
A witch's best friend
In
is a
fact,
pig.
I actually think we boost the Pig. Just so it takes them like a heat wave to get ahead. And I might even pass. 7, 14. Problem is they can do it. If they have Amphibious, they have it. If they... Okay. Let's just say we pass here. Right on. So now we can fix what we're going for here with the whole spear tip play, right? And then we can put this back just in case. That's not all bad. We probably do play Self-Eaters, see if we can get rid of some of the damage first.
Temeria has yet to speak its last.
Okay. Yeah, we'll play it. We're in like a really good spot here because we just don't want to deal with a lot of this long round stuff in round 3, so I think it even means just play here. These are 4, these are 4, this is 5, so if we bring back... We'll just wait.
These are the skulls of my sisters, burned by your kind.
I don't mind playing Mistress on round 2. It's their devotion. Yeah, we'll cram this, we'll cram out BM, and then we'll just go from there. BM Pig. Still enough points. So I don't think card advantage is important compared to getting out siege. So let's just go for that play instead.
Those hooves will both be hung.
They're likely going to be killing off that token here.
And it's all for me grog, me nonking grog.
This could actually, there's no muzzle, there's no heat wave. We got to put it on range row because I have stuff that I want to play on melee, right?
Have you no honor? Stand and fight!
Sure. $27, we're still holding in. I don't mind playing this here because I don't want to give them another siege engine in round 3. That's what we'll do.
The shackles that restrain our desires.
24, okay. I don't think that we can go all in here, but I do think that this is not bad for short round. Baron. It's too big of a lead.
Surprisingly clean pictures, as it happens.
Wouldn't have mattered if we had the Incubus or the Pig, really. We've actually got out quite a bit. So, AA, we got Baron, both duels, Pride, like, quite a lot of stuff. This is good. One Relic. I don't have a great Oswald target. Yeah, we'll just see how that goes. That's the amphibious. They take that to 3. Purify that. Do they kill it? Probably not. They know it comes back. Osroll melee takes their 6, or we get a 7 of our own. So I think we play this first. Just because I don't want to deal, you know, we don't want to take damage. We should just be fine, yeah? That wasn't bad. Let's see if we can get one more game here, making it even 6 games for play reference. I was worried about Inspired Zeal. I'm probably more worried about Stockpile, so this is the reality, right? This might happen. If anything, it's going to be Spores. I think that goes back here. They do have like an amphibious reset, but maybe Henselt's going to be a later play, so we can maybe look for that later on. Can't say I love this here. And obviously we take that back. No bricks. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Now, it's probably going to be Griffin and then Asleep and then Thin.
I pass on every 10th round.
So much tempo though, you know what I mean? Here. See if we can pull that off. A lot of these stockpile decks have muzzle. But also a lot of them have heatwave. Some of them have both. We'll know pretty quick if they answer this. so they don't have muzzle. And for what it's worth, even if they kill it, like, it's not all bad, you know? Oh, my fruit's still out there. It's sitting at 1 point, so I didn't see it for a sec. Here. Probably just boost something up.
It is how I punish.
Radovid's bad, but I don't think we're supposed to really do anything about it. Like, how can we, right? We'll start playing on range, maybe the Lesser Witch. It depends. 32-15. Maybe we actually go for the pass here. I feel like if they had Amphibious, they probably would have used it by now. So they'll use the leader charge here, I'm sure. That ties it, so they'll need a second. Which kind of eliminates Radovid in this case, right? One of the big things is we're going to go into a long round 3. Now, that's not all bad, right? Because, let's have a look here. If we're pulling, it's going to be 1, 2, or 3. If I can get another gold card in hand, we're actually doing pretty well. It's probably that for now. There we go. Don't have to worry about leader. We'll just go ahead and play this. So if we Heatwave Siege and we take away something with the Toad Prince, like, that's pretty good. We just needed to draw one of the 2 golds. Peller doesn't feel important. And I don't think we're supposed to keep this either. That's better. Then we pull that. We should be good. I want the Witch Apprentice, but I'm worried about bricks. Actually, the likelihood of us bricking is quite small. It might be we get rid of a Self-Eater. I don't think it's going to get much value here. That's probably actually better. Yeah. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily the target we want to worry about. I'm kind of more concerned about another Ballista or a Caraballista, right? We can't do anything about the Caraballista, but we can certainly just grab the Ballista, because that's like a lot of resets with the leader and then all the other warfares that they play, so something to think about. Take this while we can, I think. we're sort of just left to put up with whatever they have. So this is melee, so that's going to be the Toad Prince, I think. Because we can avoid playing for just bleeding, okay. That's not all bad here. I would expect them to deal with a couple of these things, so I'm sort of planning for that. I don't think that this is as important, though, still, as the reinforced. Problem is that they do get rid of one of the fruits next turn, unless I was to go boost it, which is not actually a bad idea. Like, normally you don't want to boost something that thrives, but even if we do boost it by 2, we're still proccing the thrive on all these cards that we play, so it's not bad. I just don't know if I want to boost this one as well, because... well, it's a little late for that. I think we still take this here. It seems like something you should never do, but like I said, I think it's fine. And then with this play, right? Sabbath played instead. We'll just eat this at a 1. Have to hope they don't catch on here. I don't know if the Thrive alone is going to be enough, right? Spores on the Henselt's great. This is scary. So we'll wait to play this and this, really. Actually, Henselt reset's more valuable than that. So maybe it is just the Osril first. Osril does go taller than Mamuna, though. Actually, I didn't even think of that. That's a mistake. I forgot it was same row for a second. That was kind of expensive. Mamuna played for 9 points plus the Thrive. So realistically, like, what it should have been was taking Spores or taking Osril there. 100%. Don't make the same mistake, right? I think we lost because of it. We'll see. Yeah, it's so unfortunate. Whatever our final score is, add 11 to it, and we'll see if it was enough. Because we had the space now. Okay, it just doesn't matter. 11 would have been not even a tie. Too much control for this. But yeah, I mean, that's a matchup that you're bound to have. Obviously could play it a little bit better, but I mean, it just doesn't feel winnable. Look at that score. Holy. Anything else though, like boost related? Pretty good, right?